And, but when this came up, I said, you know what? She could be perfect for this. And Helaine Witt worked with the coach for Robin Williams. She's on, started a website with 6,000 jokes. She wrote some material for Joan Rivers on when she was on the Tonight Show. Right now she tours the area. She does gigs for veterans, seniors, and all those in need, and also those hip millennials that like to go up to Harlem. So therefore, Helaine.
Thank you.
Let it roll.
Whoever he's talking about, what a person, wow.
Go ahead. Free speech, go ahead.
Thank you. Is this echoing? Am I on? Hi. You might be looking at me wondering, is that the love child of Barbara Streisand and Barry Manilow? I can't be because I'm almost their age, actually. I was a school teacher. I'm a retired school teacher. Any school teachers? Oh yeah, they mentioned you, yeah. Well, I don't know about you. You taught in Brooklyn, or you teach in Brooklyn. I taught in a really tough school. Like you walk in the building and you see the school colors, black and blue. And like when we were young, we used to carve our sweetheart's name in the desk. These kids carved their sweetheart's name in their sweetheart. The second grade girls had a gang, and I taught second grade. This other class's girls had a gang, and the initiation was to take the milk containers off of my girls' lunch trays. True story. I named them the half pints. And the leader of the gang was the Dairy Queen. So later on in life, with the Facebook and all, she's talking about her boyfriend complaining he can't get it up. TMI, Mr. Softy. That means too much information. These are my students. But, you know, it's funny, they have something new since I retired, and I don't know if you're familiar with this, the participation trophies. Do you know what this is, anybody? It's the latest thing since I retired, and it's that no matter what the child does in the class, they get an award or a trophy of some sort just for showing up. Reminds me of my honeymoon. Should have had a participation trophy because he showed up, but very little was accomplished. Family show here. But yeah, I'm divorced. I was married twice. I was married first to a Jewish guy, then I was married to a Chinese guy. And people say, what's the difference? I said, no difference. They're both cheap and drive terribly. I hope this isn't a politically correct. But I'm getting older. Anybody else getting older here besides myself? I'm losing my hair. I'm being very intimate. I don't even know you yet. And I'm being very intimate. I'm losing my hair. But I know where it's going. It's going to my knuckles. I also have a macrame ring there from the little peach fuzz on my face. I mean, the change is really crazy, right, ladies? Tom was talking about the hair growing out of his ears. I got that too, Tom. Sorry. Embarrassed, but I try to be positive, so I have the varicose veins, but I changed the name of those to the Google Roadmap to Adventure. I'll tell my friend's daughter who wrote that joke that you really laughed loudly on that. But this road takes you to the Sterling Forest. I'll break that down to you young ladies. Silver Lake, you do the Brazilian and all that stuff. And then this road takes you to the Dead Sea. So, you know, when you girls are young, you say, I can't wait for the change, then I won't have the PMS and the cramps, right? So then the change comes, and then you say, oh, you got the hot flashes, right, and the mood swings. You know what I say, ladies and gentlemen? I say menstruation, menopause, those were the good old days. I'm the only person on the LIE who's driving down to the beach, and I got the heat and the air conditioner on at the same time. Crazy. And like, you young ladies, you don't like when the men whistle at you, you know, what do they call that? The cat calls? This is what I get. Oh, miss, oh, ma'am, oh, lady. Whatever happened to hey, babe? I wouldn't have ever said that. The cuckoo on my biological clock is wearing Depends. You heard of the information age? I'm headed for the inflammation age. I try to have a sense of humor. But I was saying I was married twice, and I was dating this guy from Bragg Street. Carol knows about it. Bragg Street. And he didn't have too much to brag about because he would put in his singles ads that he loves long hikes, but he would press the elevator to go up one flight. And you know where he should have lived? Around the corner on Knapp Street. This is Brooklyn. You talk about Brooklyn, right? And also on his singles ad, it said, loves romantic horse and buggy rides. Hello, you live in Sheepshead Bay, you're not Amish. But when I was married to the Jewish guy, it was like 1 year, Hanukkah and Thanksgiving ended up on the same night. It's times like that I wish I was still married because my mother-in-law would only have to eat over once that month. But with the Chinese guy, we had 3 New Years. That was pretty exciting. First you have the American New Year with the fireworks. And then you have Chinese New Year, fireworks. But then for the Jewish New Year, like going on now, I don't see any fireworks. But if you eat my Aunt Esther's gefilte fish with a lot of horseradish, then you have fireworks. So I'll tell you something really interesting, inspired by my friend Carol here. We went to Woodstock 50 years ago, and then we went to Coachella concert out in California in the desert, called Desert Trip, and it had the same exact musicians there. You probably know about it, you too. So Mick Jagger comes out and he's singing Satisfaction. That would be fine, and Coachella. But then he goes like this. I stood up in front of all those people. Carol was embarrassed. I go, no, Mick Jagger. I paid a lot of money to come out here, fly from New York, be out in the desert. You sing to me. And then Paul McCartney was singing Maybe I'm Amazed. Maybe I'm amazed, Paul. I could barely stand here. I have to wear sneakers. I can't even wear dress shoes. Maybe I'm amazed that you performed for 3 hours straight without a glass of water. And at Woodstock, they had the tent. Remember the tent, John? I'm embarrassing all my friends tonight. Remember the tent? It was for bad acid trips. You know what the tent it was for at Coachella? Acid indigestion. 3 people lost their virginity at Woodstock. 3 people lost their dentures at Coachella. Remember the vans? People used to have those like Volkswagen buses at Woodstock. Well, you heard about those buses during the hippie time, and it would say, if you hear the tumbling, don't get rumble, like don't disturb us. You know what the bus said at Coachella? It said, if you hear don't be mussing, we're just using Robitussin. Something like that. I have to work on that with Brandon. Any questions so far? I am a school teacher. And another thing I wanted to tell you about was, do you ladies go to the nail salons around here? I live around here too. I go to the one, I think they might be Vietnamese, I'm not sure where they're from. But they have 30 forms of torture when I go in there. And the way I know it's 30, they give you a little card with lines, and I write down each form of torture. The first thing is you walk in and you don't know what they're cooking in there. Is it like vegetable, mineral, animal? Like what are they cooking in the back? Like, you know, I don't know, but I don't think they want me in there because they're talking behind my back because the only word I understand is cuticle, and they're talking about me. And they put me on do you get the pedicure? No? You do, you can relate. Well, maybe I'll have to include the rest of you. They have this whirlpool. They put you in the hot water, And you know, on the news they say people get disease and die from this, but you know, I said to them, look, I didn't bomb your village. I protested against the war, so I don't know why you torture me. Then while you're in this massage chair, wow, that was delayed. While I'm on the massage chair, they put the massage on so you have no control of your body, and they have one person doing your nails on this hand, and one doing it on this hand, and then the lady doing your feet. It tickles when they follow your feet. And they're making fun of my calluses. You know what they called them? Clogs. That wasn't very nice. Because another word I could detect, but the rest I don't know what they're talking about. So anyway, you have no control of yourself, and they're gouging you and hurting you. There's the 30 forms of torture, but this is the one that gets me. You know when you get the fill, there's something called fill, and they put powder, they put napalm on my nails. And Agent Orange, and then it drips down. It's like shellac. It's dripping down my arm. I mean, they're torturing me, and this is supposed to be relaxing. She's hysterical. She must have a really good one. And the more they insult the cuticles, the more tip I think they want. Like, your cuticle is so, you know, they're talking about me. I go, I feel so guilty. I better give $10. It's not my fault. It's not like my care. It's just they grow every week. So. Okay, well, I think my time's up. Don't you think, James?
More. Yeah, a couple more.
Yes. Okay.
Why don't you do one of the jokes you wrote for Joan Rivers?
I'm not allowed. Let me tell you why I'm not allowed.
Hard story.
Okay. Well, no, but it's part of the joke. I'm not allowed to tell the joke because I signed a 6-page contract. So someone like James came along and said, she died. You could tell the joke now. But her lawyer isn't dead. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you one of the jokes. I'm going to tell you one of the jokes. So this really happened. It was on TV, I could tell it. So it was Income Tax Day, 1986. And it was during that song, Let's Get Physical, Physical by Olivia Newton-John. So, and I have it on video. So Joan Rivers comes out. Of course, I'm very excited that this happened. But she comes out and she goes, My accountant, it's Income Tax Day, my accountant is dancing around the office going, let's get fiscal, like physical here, F-I-S-C-A-L. So nobody laughs, and then she goes, let's get fiscal, nobody laughs. And then she says it the third time, she goes, let's get fiscal. I thought that would be a good joke. So she said it 3 times. And I'll just leave with the last other one that she said on TV that I have on the tape. She bought 10, but someone else in this room wrote more jokes for famous comics than me. And I won't embarrass the person, but they wrote many more than I did for famous people. But the last one was, in LA there was so much divorce that I go to the Infidelity Savings Bank.